speak for everybody in this room when I say you absolutely blew me away in this meeting. I'd like to know how, at 12 years old, you're probably 11 when you made this, how do you put yourself in the mindset of someone like Layla who's been through all of this hardship, all of this trauma? How were you able to do that?
I mean, it was hard at that point. I think just having Rachel and Jake's support throughout it and them just being themselves and being the parents, I think I immediately fell into that role. And yeah, and just like really long sessions with Antoine and stuff, that helped a lot. And he gave me more information on Layla.
More information?
Now, Una, listen. Jake has been starting to dabble a little bit in theater acting. He's been on Broadway. You have a Tony Award. We should tell people a special Tony from your work in Matilda. Do you want to give him any advice on this new theatrical career that he's living?
Wow, it takes an audience to really finally. I ask for advice every single day, and she's like, "I'm really busy working." Finally, she's coming back. Go ahead, I'd love to know now.
I think just try to remember your lines.
You're welcome. Seriously though, you told me today that you really followed Una's lead and you let her guide you in a lot of ways in your scenes together.
Well, she memorized both our lines, so sometimes I was like, yeah, a lot of people have asked me, particularly today, you know, that I'm not a father, so how did we develop that relationship? And I think that there are a number of things involved in that, which is that I would, number one, like we said, that I would do anything for a child, no matter what. Whether I know them or they're part of my family, it doesn't matter. So that love was sort of immediate. When she walked in the room, you know, she just is who she is, and she's just pretty extraordinary. And then when you work with her, when I first read with her, we're sitting much like we're sitting now, and we started improv, and we were talking about the dolls in your room. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember this? So we were talking about the dolls in your room, right? It was the scene where you're counting all the scene in your bedroom. We just started improv, and you're like, there's this is Jane, and then this is John. Oh, John, okay. And this is Jane. Oh, and don't mind John's long hair. And then and I was like, who is this girl? I mean, there's a world that appeared that she had created and was creating even in the moment. And I just thought, I just need to follow her. And then I realized, well, that's exactly what happens with the parent and child. And so that's what I did through most of it. You know, she set the tone, you know, the scene, the grave after Maureen stubs her toe. Bob Marley thing. No, but after that, at the grave, you know, Antoine said, I'm setting up 2 cameras, and I want you guys to walk up, and then I want to see what happens. And there was a scene, obviously, that was written there that we moved into, but that was all Una talking. You know, she started talking to her mother, and she started saying these things, and that was all her, you know. So, and I just followed her lead. And I think that was what the scene was about. She wasn't supposed to follow mine. She asked to go as Layla to see her mother. And that's how it went. And that's very much the movie, you know. It's all about her, and she's just a beautiful actress, and she deserves more Tonys.
Una, Una, we're in a room full of actors here. You have many family members who are actors. Your sisters are, your dad is, as I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think that's played a big role in your interest and your ability in acting?
Definitely. I mean, my dad is like my inspiration because he's done like theater and he's done movies and he just has like this experience and he always helps me. He always like memorizes lines with me. He always, is always there to give me tips on how I should do this, how I should say that, and it's really, really helpful. And also having like my sisters there and stuff, sometimes they'll help me with my lines, which is really fun.
Rachel, can you talk about what kind of rehearsal time you had? This, as I understand it, was I think a 40-day shoot. Did you have much rehearsal time before that?
Yeah, we did, which is rare nowadays. So Antoine was really, adamant about carving that out, which I was so grateful for. And the three of us got lots of time to hang out, to in a relaxed way, to ease our way into it. We got a lot of time to talk about our backstory. We went to a facility together where we kind of imagined Billy and Maureen had maybe met, or the type of facility they would have grown up in. And then we got to not box each other, but I'd watch you and you'd watch me, and mostly I was watching you, but
yeah, say that louder. I just say that I was watching her more than she was watching me. Probably, she's easy on the eyes, so you kind of want to watch her.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, she watched me a lot. She watched me a lot.
In the ring, right?
So we kind of had like this little mini movie before we started the movie, which felt very real, and we didn't have to do a lot of pretending by the time we got there.
When I saw the movie a couple weeks ago, the opening credits were going, and I saw music composed by James Horner. And he had passed away the day before the screening that I saw, and it was very touching at that time. And I paid extra special attention to his music, and I thought it was really powerful. Can you guys talk about what you think his work adds to the film?
I'll say that sometimes I listen to scores, as a motivation, emotionally, moving into a scene. And one of the scores that I use often and have, and that moves me so much, is scored for Searching for Bobby Fischer, and many of his scores. I think in this score in particular, there are even some hints of it, and every time I hear that, like pieces of his history, it moves me so much. He had an extraordinary career. I actually have never met him, but I feel like I know him from his music, and it was an honor when I heard from Antoine that he was going to score this movie, and he did it for really no money, and he did it out of his love for Antoine and their relationship, and also for his belief in this movie, and I think you can feel that. And I just, whenever we lose anybody too early, I'm just heartbroken that we won't be able to hear more of all of his beautiful melodies, But it's an honor that this was one of the last things that he worked on, and an honor that he's given us all that he gave us when he was here.
I remember actually when I was about to do the Stub My Toe, I was listening to the Braveheart soundtrack all night. Yeah.
We have a lot of great questions from you all that you wrote